For those of you who are new, I've been doing a Brownie Extravaganza brownie experiment since April 30th. So I've spent the entire day organizing the Brownie Extravaganza, all of my notes, all of the recipes, all of the direct messages, comments, everything that has led to this moment is right here on this countertop. So on April 30th, I received an email asking the question, how do you make a brownie with the fudgy and crinkly top? And I think you pronounce her name Amina. And so Amina started the whole thing, which is wonderful. And what I did is I went through and I asked my questions and set some standards. So my spreadsheet is based on baker's percentage. It gave me the ability to compare one brownie to the other using the ingredients. Some brownies don't have the same ingredients as others, and some have ingredients where they use it a lot more than others or a lot less than others. So I've been updating this as we go along. Because this is fundamentally recipe testing, I've done the same thing with each recipe. And I wrote down here basically that when I started on 4:30, I have done 11 brownies from start to finish that I have baked that fall under the Brownie Extravaganza category. However, I've also done a gluten-free brownie and a vegan brownie, and then I started doing box brownies. And the only one that I liked that was okay was Ghirardelli, and I also have more box brownies like the Trader Joe's been recommended, and I have a Simple Mills that has almond flour, so I'll be doing these soon. I'm just really quickly going to show you what my files look like so that you know. This was the first brownie, Outrageous by Ina Garten. I have notes. I've converted it to my spreadsheet, and this is how it started on the Food Network back in, oh my gosh, 1999. This is an excellent recipe. The next recipe I worked on was the 6th Street recipe, and this is one that we adapted and developed in the classroom and was sold at the student bakery. It's excellent. The Displaced Housewife brownie was the third one, and it didn't meet really the crinkly, shiny crust, but it was good. The fourth brownie was out of a textbook, the Suez textbook, and it's more of a European brownie, a little lighter in color and definitely cakier. And then number 5 was the Claire Safford's Malted Forever brownie, which is in the top 3, I can say that without hesitation. But you can see how I map out and then convert all of the recipes, and she did some of the work in 2 grams, but there were a few, like for 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, I think that's about 1.5 grams, but I had to convert it and then put it into my spreadsheet and make the brownie. The 6th brownie was Rosie's award-winning brownie, and I have made this a million times. It does not meet the directive, but it's an excellent recipe. The 7th was the Brave Tart, Stella Parks. This is in the top 3, and I also did her suggestion to convert the AP flour to hazelnut flour, and that was an excellent gluten-free sub. And then I did a Philip Corey vegan, not gluten-free, but vegan brownie that I can't recommend enough. It was excellent. The 8th brownie in the experiment was the Reddit brownie, and it's a big fat no for a lot of reasons. And I have to tell you, one of the reasons it took me all day to organize my notes is because some recipes that live on the internet, they are almost like the children and grandchildren of recipes that work. So a lot of people took the Brave Tart recipe and then tried to adapt it, and there are some egregious mistakes in this, but I really didn't like it. And the 9th one that I baked was the Dory Greenspan brownie. It's excellent, but it was too thin, so I need to bake it and bring my amount closer to a key, so it's more like 1,000 grams. It'll fit into my 8 by 8 by 3 pan, much better. The 10th one that I did was the Sugar Logi Gooey brownie. And again, this is an internet recipe and it's based on the Reddit recipe, so not impressed. The 11th brownie that I did was Rose Bakery in Paris. And this was not a fudgy crinkly brownie, but it's really great to do, especially if you're in the middle of recipe testing a type, to do a different kind and then use it as a backdrop or a foil to what you're doing to understand how the ingredients are working. So the biggest thing that I learned about all of these recipes was I would only change one thing at a time. If you change the temperature of your oven and the percentage of flour, you've changed two things. Change one thing only every time you move on to the next step. So here's the fun part of the experiment. These are the brownies that I absolutely did not like. The tasty BuzzFeed brownie, not good. The baked brownie out of Bake New York. Again, I love Bake New York and I love their bakery, but this brownie was too cakey. The tartine brownie was just odd and it did not make the cut for me to even test it. So I have been DMing and emailing people and organizing all of your suggestions. So I've messaged that I'm looking for the David Leibovitz Robert's Absolute Best Brownie in Ready for Dessert. I'm looking for a brownie out of Snacking Bakes, and I have read Pancake Princess's recipe rankings and they're very interesting. And I am planning on using the Trader Joe's brownie mix to give you my impression. This is the Great American Recipes brownie from 1999, Perfect Brownies. And thank you, Chris, because this was just emailed to me and I'm going to get working on that. So this is another brownie that I'm trying, and it isn't the original, but it's from Alice Medrich. And I want to see what this is like, but I can't just look at the recipe. First, I have to convert to grams. Then I have to put it in my spreadsheet to get the baker's percentage and compare it to all my successful brownies. Then I can decide if I'm even going to do it. Richmond Hill Bakery in London has European brownies, and I do not have the recipe for this yet. I've also been recommended this brownie out of King Arthur, so I would like to try that. And this is by far the most interesting, and I am in a household of black licorice lovers. So Gail Simmons black licorice brownies look amazing. Handle the Heat has the best chewy recipe brownie that I would like to try. And then this is a mystery. Did one of you send me this brownie, or did I have this from someone else sharing it with me? I don't know where I got it and I am not sure. So that is my brownie experiment. I have had so much fun. I feel like I've been very interactive with all of you. I've also learned a lot, I've shared a lot, and I am open to more suggestions and comments. If you have any other questions, because I can wrap up this brownie extravaganza and get back to other things. The other requests that people have had for more French pastry, more yeast dough, and things like that. So thank you for the brownie extravaganza, for challenging me. It's been really, really fun, and it really shows you the magic of connection through apps like TikTok, and I had a really good time. Thank you.